Hello and welcome. As an implementation of online classes, the BTech Mechanical 4 semester subject SOM is being taught by me, and I am taking this subject. And today, uh, in the third lecture, today is the third lecture of the SOM, and today we'll discuss about principal stresses and strains. What are these principal stresses and strains, and how they are found? So. Earlier in the introduction, we discussed about the direct stresses and strain. We talked about the shear stresses and strain, and this time we'll be talking about principal stress and strain and how they are found, what are the principal stresses and strain, where do they act, and what are the methods to define the principal stresses and strain. So, before knowing principal stresses and strains, we must be knowing direct stresses and strain. If we see, if a body is, as given in this diagram, if a body is under direct stresses, that is, a body is subjected to a tensile force in x direction, positive x direction and positive y direction. Similarly, the body is under subjected to direct tensile stress along y-axis. That is, both the perpendicular cases, in both the axes, the body is being pulled like this and like this. So the stresses that are developed are sigma x and sigma y. Sigma x and sigma y are the direct stresses that are actually acting in x and y along the x and y axis of the body. So these were the direct stresses. Another stresses we talked about, shear stresses. Shear stresses are the stresses that basically act along the uh, plane. For example, we have this object. So a plane force, if a force is acting like this and another force is acting like this, so these two will generate a shear stress. Shear means to tear. Shear means to tear. So this will be there will be a stress that will try to tear these body into two parts. So, like we have seen, is is an example. If we want to tear, we have to apply, we have to put a pressure in opposite direction so that it is torn. Similarly, if a body is under such forces that two equal and opposite forces are acting, two equal and opposite forces are acting, they will try to shear the body. So is the stresses developed known as the stresses developed thus are known as shear stresses, and the stresses are accompanied by the shear stresses are accompanied by the equal and opposite conjugate. So this, if we see, there are two shear stresses. One is tau given by tau xy, tau xy, it is acting vertical upwards, tau xy is acting downwards. Basically, tau xy are the components of a shear stress that is acting in opposite direction. Similarly, tau yx and tau yx are also components of the same shear stress that is acting in the opposite direction. So in these systems, we know that two types of stresses are there. One are direct stresses, another are shear stresses. Direct stresses that are acting directly along the axis of the system, and shear stresses are when the body is subjected to two forces in opposite direction, and these opposite forces try to tear the body in a two different parts. So these are known as shear stresses. Now comes the third one, principal stresses. What are the principal stresses? So if we take an angle there, if we take a plane that plane is such that if we take a plane from the x-axis of the body at an angle of theta p, and we define all the stresses along this plane, we will find that in some cases, at some theta p, there will be no shear stress acting at all. All the shear stresses, only direct stress will be acting along the sigma 1 and normal plane sigma 2. Sigma 1, we have taken a plane L at an angle of theta p and defined all the stresses on this plane. Similarly, we have taken a normal plane sigma 2, the normal plane, plane 2, that is plane 2, that is normal to the plane 1, and we will see that in many cases there is no shear stress along this plane. So the planes that don't have any shear stress acting on it, only direct stresses are acting on that plane. Those planes are known as principal planes. Those planes are known as principal planes. And the stresses that are acting on the principal planes or are known as principal stresses. And similarly, the strains that are acting on those planes are known as principal strains. So principal stresses are acting on a plane called principal planes, and these principal planes are not subjected to any shear stress, only they are subjected to direct stresses. We will explain another letter when we will go. We will see that again we have taken two px, py, opposite direction, and q is the complementary shear stress, that is two equal and opposite components of a shear stress are acting in opposite direction. And if we take a plane at an angle of theta from the top or from the bottom, we will find that there is a plane P1, that is there is a plane P1 parallel to this line AE, and there is a plane perpendicular to the line AE, that is normal to AE, and we will find that sometimes on this plane there is no shear stress, and similarly there is no shear stress on this plane also. So these two planes are mutually perpendicular principal planes, and when these perpendicular when there is no shear stress on these planes, these planes are known as principal stresses, and principal planes, and the stresses that are acting on these along these planes are known as principal stresses. Similarly, principal strains are the strains that act along the strains that are found on these two planes. So this was about principal stresses and strains. So this is the formula of how to find principal stresses and strains. First thing is that we are given two tensile stresses sigma x and sigma y. So we'll be finding principal stresses along plane 1 and 2 will be sigma x plus sigma y by 2 plus minus square root of sigma x minus sigma by 2, sigma x minus sigma y by 2 whole square plus tau square xy. We know that tau square xy is the shear stress that is acting along the x and y planes of the body. So similarly, principal stress sigma 1 2 is given by this formula, and again the angle of the principal plane from the horizontal is given by tan 2 theta p is equal to tau xy divided by sigma x minus sigma y by 2. That means if you have to find the theta, that means we have to find the slope of the plane along which there are no shear stresses, only direct stresses. So that angle can be found by tan theta 2p is equal to tau xy. Tau xy or shear stress is known, and similarly sigma x and sigma y are also known. So we can find sigma x minus sigma y, difference of the two direct stresses dividing by 2. Then the shear stress is divided by this quantity, and then we find tan 2 theta p, or tangential ratio, tangential trigonometric ratio of the angular plane theta along which the principal stresses act. So by this we will be finding tan theta p will be finding tan 2 theta p we have found. So we will find the inverse. 2 theta p is equal to tan inverse within bracket tau xy divided by sigma x minus sigma y by 2. Then if we divide the whole term by 2, or we will take 1 by 2 tan inverse tau xy divided by sigma x minus sigma y by 2. So this will give us the plane, the angle, or the direction of the plane from the horizontal along which the principal stresses will act. So this way we have found the principal stresses. Now we'll find how much maximum shear stress is working on the principal plane, on this particular plane, because we told that in there are planes that among those there is no shear stress at all. At the same time, there will be planes that will have maximum shear stress. So how to find the maximum shear stress and the position of those planes along which the shear stress is maximum, and at the same time the slope and the direction of the plane from the horizontal. So this two formulae will give us the maximum, the value of maximum shear stress, and at the same time it will give the direction or the angle at which the maximum, the plane of which that bears the maximum shear stress inclined from the horizontal. So for the maximum shear, for finding maximum shear stress, will what we'll do, we'll take sigma x minus sigma y. We'll have to uh, find the difference and divide by 2, and then give it whole square. Find the difference between the two direct stresses, divide it by 2, or take divide by 2, or then square it and add it to the square of shear stress, and take the square root of all the quantity. You will find the maximum shear stress that is acting on a body in case a body is subjected to direct stresses and shear stresses, a combination of direct stress and shear stresses, or only a combination of direct stresses. So the plane, the question is that what would be the direction of the plane, or at what angle the plane will be inclined, along which the maximum shear stress is acting. So the plane along which the maximum shear stress acting is tan 2 theta s is equal to minus, within bracket, sigma x minus sigma y by 2 divided by tau xy. So this way we will find 2 theta of s, that is shear stress, maximum shear stress. So again we'll take theta s is equal to tan inverse half into tan inverse minus sigma x by sigma y by 2 divided by tan xy. So sigma average is sigma x by sigma y. So sigma average can be found by sigma x direct, adding these two direct stresses and then dividing by 2. So this will have direct stresses, sigma average, then the average of direct stresses. So now we have found the plane along which principal stresses act, and the plane along which the maximum stresses, maximum shear stress acts. So similarly, we have found the principal stress and principal stress and principal strain. Similarly, we have found the angle along which the maximum shear stress act, and at the same time what is the value of maximum shear stress, and at what angle this shear plane is inclined from the horizontal. So there are many methods. So this is the summary of what we have studied right now. So this is an overview. So this is comprehensive, that there are no shear stresses on principal plane. So that means, as I told many times, that there are planes that don't bear any shear stress are known as principal planes, and planes where the normal stresses is the maximum or minimum. Normal stresses may be maximum or minimum. So, and thus the orientation of principal planes are given by equating tau is equal to 0. So similarly, I told that the direction of principal plane will be can be found by putting the shear stress, the value of shear stress as 0, because these planes don't have any shear stress. So at theta p, we'll find tau theta is equal to sigma x minus sigma y by 2 sine 2 theta by sine 2 theta pi minus tau 2 xy cos 2 theta pi by cos 2 theta pi, theta p is equal to 0. Shear stress is 0 at the principal plane. So we know the formula of the shear stress. Formula of shear stress is in cases of direct stresses and shear stress. it is sigma x minus sigma y by 2. These two sigma x and sigma y direct stresses, and similarly theta p is the angle of plane. So angle of plane at which shear stress 0. So substituting the value of shear stress as 0, we will be finding theta p. Theta p will come out, or a plane that doesn't have any shear stress will be inclined at 1 by 2 tan inverse sigma twice tau xy divided by sigma x minus sigma y, which give two values of theta by differing 90 degrees. Thus, two principal planes are mutually perpendicular. So, uh, as we discussed earlier, there will be two planes mutually perpendicular that will have shear stress as 0. So, these value, the value of theta p can be found. Now, this is the same diagram that we earlier have considered in the second part. Now, there are shear stresses, normal stresses, and angle of plane. Angle of plane. So there are many methods of finding these shear stresses and the normal stresses, the principal stresses, and the obliquity on which these forces, on which these stresses act. So analytical methods are there, graphical methods are there. First, we'll discuss about the graphical methods. So graphical methods main in our syllabus is Mohr circle, and it is a very important method of finding the these three parameters: shear stresses, normal stresses, and angle of plane, angle of principal plane. So how this graphical method is drawn and why this is called so, and how we'll find shear stresses and shear and principal stresses. So basically, Mohr circle is the graphical method that was given by German scientist known name as Otto Mohr. Otto Mohr has given this method. That's why this method is placed after his name, and this method is used to find the principal planes, the principal stresses, the shear stresses, and at the same time angle of obliquity of the plane. So in this, what we have to do, the if a body is purely subjected to if a body is purely subjected to two tensile forces and hence two tensile stresses, one in positive x direction and another is positive y direction. So the body will have two components. One the body, one the stress will be developed in positive x direction. Similarly, we will have uh, tensile stress developed in the negative x direction and positive y direction, positive negative y direction. So in all we have sigma x, sigma x, sigma y, sigma y, sigma x and sigma x will be equal and opposite, and similarly sigma y will also be equal and opposite, thus balancing each other, and the body will be in equilibrium and the whole body will be under strain because we are pulling the body this direction and also in the vertical direction. So this will the body will be under the strain in both these two directions. So we are given sigma x, sigma y, sigma x, sigma y, and if we find a plane that is inclined at an angle of theta from the horizontal, if we find the angle, if we find the plane that is inclined at an angle of theta from the horizontal, so this plane, if this plane doesn't have any shear stress, this plane will be known as principal plane, and the stresses acting along this plane, those will be direct stresses, and there will be no shear stresses. So the stresses that are acting on this plane are known as principal stresses. So theta is the angle of this plane along with along which there is no shear stress. At the same time, we will have a mutually perpendicular, or we will have a plane normal to this plane, and this plane will also would not have any shear stress. So given is theta sigma x, sigma y, and sigma n is normal stress. So we will what we'll do, first of all, we will choose an appropriate scale. This appropriate scale will work us to to draw the graphical method of determining the shear stresses and principal stresses. So when sigma x is given, what we will do, we will draw a line that will be equal to sigma x. This is the sigma x line. This one is sigma x from here to here. We'll choose a suitable scale and we'll find x and y directions of coordinate system. Assuming O as origin, we will draw a line that is equivalent to sigma x in positive x direction. This is given sigma x in positive x direction. So we'll draw a line sigma x. Again, we are given at the sigma y. So we will be taking direct stress on this scale, that is x-axis. So we will again draw sigma y on this scale. So sigma y is this and sigma x is this. Now, these are two extremes of the circle that we have to draw. So these are two extremes. These are two extreme points on the x-axis. So this is the sigma x and this is sigma y. So if we find sigma x minus sigma y, if we find sigma x minus sigma x plus sigma y by 2, sigma x plus sigma y by 2, because this much is sigma x and this is sigma y. So if we find sigma x plus sigma y by 2, sigma x plus sigma y divided by 2, so this will be sigma x plus sigma y by 2 or sigma y minus sigma y by 2 will give us same position from the different direction. So sigma x plus sigma y by 2 will be value from this point to this point, and sigma y by 2, sigma y minus sigma x minus sigma y by 2 will be different distance from this to this point, and these two will be same. So this is basically n. We have got the n, and n is the center of the Mohr circle that we are calling Mohr circle. So n is the center point, and sigma n is the center point, and center point from when we have got center point and two extreme points, we can draw a circle. We will draw a circle by taking mn or nl as the radius. So we'll put the compass at n and we'll draw a circle. This way, this circle is drawn, and this is called as Mohr circle. This circle is known as Mohr circle, given after the German scientist Otto Mohr, who devised this technique of graphical solution of finding stresses. Now, when we have drawn a complete circle and we know the center point and two extreme points, we are again given the theta. We have found the plane along which there are no shear stresses and only the direct stresses. So what we'll do, we will draw, okay, we will draw a line on at an angle of 2 theta, and at an angle of 2 theta from the center, and this line will cut or touch the radius of the circle, the circumference of the circle. when this when we draw a line from n at an angle of 2 theta, this is the point P that will be that will fall on the line NP, and also at the same time on circumference of this circle. From point P, we will drop a perpendicular. From point P, we will drop a perpendicular, and this PQ will represent shear stress. This PQ will represent shear stress. Okay, and similarly, we will find a line at an angle of theta from point M. So this will cut. This is 2 theta and this is theta. So again, this will cut at point P. So we have dropped PQ. We have dropped a perpendicular from P, and this will give me shear stress. And when we have drawn a line from M from N to P, this will give a point P, and from P we will join point O with the point P, and this line will give us sigma resultant or resultant direct stresses because of sigma x and sigma y. And point P in the n direction, point P in the x direction will also represent normal stress. Point P from the origin will also represent point P from the origin will point P from the origin will this will be at a distance of sigma n, and sigma n is normal stress. So now we have found sigma sigma resultant. Sigma resultant is found, sigma normal is found, and shear stress is found. Again, phi will be found by phi will be the angle at which the principal plane acts or principal plane. So this is alpha. Fine. So this is how NP, NL, PQ, NP, and these two are found. So two things we have learned from here. One is sigma x minus sigma y. Sigma x minus sigma y